Got it, number 7.
Seven. Here we
Quick
go.
turnaround.
7. So our last one, kind of short and sweet. With Mikey Losak. I think it's going to be one of our more important ones and more relevant especially for like our particular teams and honestly what our new guests do. Because we have 15, 16-year-old kids, 26, 27, 28, about how important all that kind of stuff is. And it worked out perfectly because we got DM'd so much about that at Delphi thing. So another thing that kind of is relevant to the Joey Stewart story, as we get to our guests in a few minutes, is, I've gotten a lot of, because of the going down to 34, because of the trickle-down effect. Like, all right, what is the Division III life potentially like? Like, what am I getting myself into? And again, how do I find my own route? So I thought that was a really unique kind of question. That was one specific person. I won't say the name, and I get why that person asked that question. So getting to before we get to Joey Stewart, like we've referenced it a little bit, our stories, right? And we talked about how did we end up where we ended up. So when we get to Joey Stewart, that's going to be the beginning question. Then we'll backtrack because we've talked about the recruiting process a bunch, and we'll always make sure that's a huge part of all this because it's a huge part of the industry, right? It's a huge part of getting these kids where they want to be. What my goal is, because we've been very clear about it, I don't regret a single moment of my decision to go to New Haven and decommit from a UNC Greensboro, other than maybe the campus, that UNC Greensboro campus was
Sick, yeah,
I know Albany for you was hands down experience through Z great, and we know that you are the Van Wilder of Sacred Heart. So that's a reference that our kids might not get, but the people
They're all
that do,
Googling it.
and you know what? That's a good Google. Watch that movie. That's a good movie. So we were lucky. We were fortunate. So when we get to Joey Stewart, welcome to Ghost Stories. You're kind of your family as it is anyway. But I have never really dove into your story outside of a little bit offline. I'm actually really excited. This is kind of raw as well, right? And I know you guys, as much as we know Joey Stewart, probably don't know much about his story. I know you coached him. You were part of that.
I just remember me and him taking fungos on Eisenhower, like B, at 8 o'clock at night, just taking fungos and
just
getting work in. Let's get some work in. But I didn't really know him too much or his process or.
Right,
stuff like that. But
so all right, so
really raw right now.
Yeah. For you, I think it is a let's get to Mount, and then we can even backtrack from there. Because I thought what one of the things you said to me was like super crazy about, like, you kind of knew that was a school you actually pursued and wanted to go to. Mm-hmm. So let's start there. How did you get connected with Mount St. Mary?
I mean, so from the jump, through my whole process of everything I was doing, I visited the school, and this was kind of talking to the coaches and everything beforehand, but I got up there, and I loved the school. I fell in love with it. I loved where it was at, everything it offered. I knew a couple of guys that were already up there that were playing baseball, and they were saying a lot of good things. So from when I went up there, visited a little bit, hung out for a weekend there, I started speaking to the coaches and everything like that, getting in touch with them.
Moore and Galasso were older than you?
Yeah, they were
1 year, right?
1 year. Yeah, 1 year.
So
I played with them.
You voluntarily went where Amar went, huh?
Yeah, man. I did.
Shout out to Amar.
Hey, shout out to Amar, 100%.
Must have some great Saturday nights with him.
The best. But, so yeah, no, really, they did a good job of kind of like showing me how it was down there and everything. So I started getting in touch with the coach, started kind of emailing him, sending him all my stuff. But at that point,
and you mentioned Mike Friggi. We obviously the owner, right? That is Mr. B1. We haven't even really shot him out yet. Yeah. Granted, we could have every single time, but this one in particular,
you're going to be able to. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, he was instrumental with that particular decision for you and that particular school. So now continue. So you have Amar, you have Galasso, you have Mike also talking with the coaches, and you did a lot on your own in this particular instance. Almost so much that it was just a foregone conclusion. All right, hey, I'm going to make this work. So how did that continue?
I mean, to tell you the truth, I feel like I felt so confident just going up there. And again, I actually went and met up with Galasso and Moore. I got to meet the team. Cool. I got to meet the guys. So this was like a little
unofficial visit.
100%. That's what it was. Wow. So I got up there, and I met all the guys, and it felt comfortable to me already.
Sure.
Like I liked it. I liked what they were about.
And that's what we always talk about. You feel it.
Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like everything was just going right, and then the conversations I was having with the coach and everything like that, and the feedback I was getting from Mike about it too. I was like, you know what? I think like I'm just gonna pursue this, and whatever I gotta go do up there, I'll do it, and I'm gonna make it work. So I ended up just finishing the summer with Joey being my coach. Went up there, and then I had to do like kind of like the whole little walk on thing, get the meetings, tryouts. But again, the tryouts weren't anything too crazy. A couple guys.
Because explain how the Division III route works.
So
there's no scholarship.
Yeah, so like you were kind of going off of whatever little scholarships they would give you some little money with academic stuff.
So the coach says, "Come on up and try out, and then we'll think about offering you a roster spot." Or do they
basically, or no? It's more of like, hey, try out, and then we're gonna let you know if you're on the team or not. And so honestly, after the first week of our fall, it was already kind of known the guys that were up there that were in the kind of the same situation as me because it wasn't just myself; it was other
which
guys.
Which is a gamble too.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's
like competition right there.
100%. So, but like we all got to know each other a month before because then we started. You have your 1 month in the fall up there for Division III. You only get to play the 1 month, so that first week is like tryouts,
captain's practice, type
right?
Of thing.
Yeah. So you got to meet everybody. So we all got really cool, but at the same time, it's like, hey, I want a spot, and not that I want a spot. I want to start. I want to play on this team. So we kind of just did all those basic things. I did bullpens because I was a two-way for 2 of the 4 years.
That was my next question because I remember that you could throw the crap out of the ball, but I also know that you were a good outfielder. So. You went in there like, hey, like whatever it takes type of mentality.
100%.
And just to be clear, by the way, they had never seen you physically play like live. Yeah. Videos, talks with Mike Ferriggi, talks with Coach Tracy, all of that, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure Golasso and Mar were like, oh, this dude could ball, but they never actually saw you play.
No, the only things they were really seeing from me was the video that I put together myself.
Crazy.
That was really it. Like when we had the B1 showcase, where I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit.
Yep.
Where I started getting a little bit of different looks and interests. They weren't down there.
Right.
I'm almost certain they weren't.
No, I don't think they were.
They were definitely not.
I think Sas came the first time after you were there.
Right.
I think you actually connected me with Coach Sas.
I think Mar as well. Mar was really good with it. But
you were proactive, but you said, I'm going to make this happen myself.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And that's what I did. I went up there, and again, I think the biggest thing for me was just the feeling of knowing like, hey, I'm going to make this work. Right.
Yeah. You were like, if Alex Mar is getting innings, I'm going to
Yo, good job, Alex. Good job, Amar.
He's watching this. We're gonna roast him. I feel bad. We'll get away from him.
Family, baby.
Yeah. 100%. But no, and I knew with the way I just knew how I was as a player. I was like, all right, we're gonna go up there. We're gonna do as I'm told. I'll go throw my bullpens. I'll let them know that I can pitch. I'm gonna play the outfield. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna hit where I hit, and then it all worked out.
It's crazy because like we've mentioned before, betting on yourself is especially right now is unbelievably risky. Mm-hmm. For you in particular, this situation actually worked out, and we obviously couldn't be happier. But it's also it's so unique. Everyone, you have to go do this, you have to go do that. So now let's backtrack for a second, and then we'll re-wrap it up at the end of your Mount career. So as we were going through the process, you played for Coach Smitty, right? Again, another shout out. What an unbelievable dude and baseball guy. Has really controlled the South Side program for so long and been successful.
Football too.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, unbelievable respected dude, and I think we all love him at B1. And I think we look at him as B1 family. Hell, you miss him. It's been a minute. I mean, it's been a minute. So, you had the luxury of playing for him and learning the game the right way. And one thing Coach Smitty's going to be about, too, is going to be about expectations. Like, I'm going to be real with you, and we're going to talk about playing time, what we need to get better at, all of that. And then you go to the guy, right? You go to Joey Tracy, where, again, it's going to be simply like, hey, I'm going to help you, improve on what you need to improve on. Let's play to your strengths. If you're really good at this, I'm going to make sure I can showcase that, all of that.
That was my first team ever as a coach.
That was right. So, but you hit the ground. You were yourself through and through, and that's why you respect.
That was just that was a really good group of guys. Man. I think it could have just it was perfect the way it was.
Right,
it really was.
Yeah. What was like the chemistry of that team? Older group. And
you had a mix of guys that were actually a couple of guys I think were already like going into college. And they wanted to just play one extra year.
That was 18U, right?
Yeah, 17,
18. We played it 2 years. So we had a couple of those guys that were kind of going through it, while you had a couple of guys that were a little bit younger, a grade behind, getting to see what they were going through. So once you saw what they were going through, and again, a lot of those guys were all Division III guys mostly, maybe a couple of D2. They're club balls,
Scooting with the Vassar,
great academic school.
Cordero,
So like guys, you saw them going through everything, and you kind of followed that. You wanted to see what it was about, but at the same time too, like we were all like in the same little boat. So
Yeah.
like we all just had a
little
great
blue
time.
collar action. I mean,
Yeah.
Cam was in here. I mean, like 6 days a week
Yeah,
working.
he was a
Oh,
he was
yeah.
a gym rat.
Big time.
He earned
Yeah.
everything that he got with Vassar, and you in the same way. And like you said, that was really cool. It was
Was
good
Gulo on
experience.
that team?
Yeah.
He was,
He was
yeah.
on the team. He was playing club ball at Bingham.
Yeah.
That's what he ended
Yeah.
up doing.
And went like national championship, and like
Yeah.
I actually remember like I think I was streaming that game, or he had sent me a video, and the first thing I said is that kid's throwing like 87. It's like, yeah, dude, like he's legit.
He was so
that was
good,
my
yeah.
first experience with club ball. Is that?
Yeah.
'Cause I was young as hell too. So
Rulo
I'm like,
could
what
have
the
played
heck?
at a lot of the
100%.
He was a great
Kicking
player.
mad.
Smart
Yeah.
kid too, man. He was
Yeah.
awesome.
He
But
just ran the marathon.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. I saw that. You know.
so yeah, just a lot of good guys. man.
Yeah.
Like, I still keep in touch with some of these guys, and again, like we just really go back off of going and not being these D1 or highly recruited guys out of high school. And like, hey, like we're going out here, we're gonna go ball out, and that's that.
Different path, different experience, expectations. We talked about it, I think, on the very, very first episode, and it'll go until episode 1000. Expectations, in my opinion, are maybe the most important part of all this.
Mhm.
Your expectations going in was, I know what I'm up against. I got to earn a spot. I already feel like I'm part of the group, so now I almost got to like re-earn that as well. Like, okay, we love this dude. I hope he can ball out so he can actually be on the team.
Right.
And then it wasn't only just about that. It's okay, how do I play? How do I earn
Yeah.
spots? So
Mhm.
expectations.
Yeah.
As long as you know what you're getting yourself into, everybody has your back. You can kind of like clear-headed, I'm going, right?
Right.
So you had mentioned the B1 showcase. It's a fun let's call it a flex, right? It is.
Mhm.
We learned the hard way at your early stages where we had a lot of the third assistant coaches at year 1, year 2, year 3.
Mhm.
And yeah, they showed a lot of love, right? This kid's really good, this kid's really good. And we missed the boat there early in our career with B1 is, all right, well, he can't necessarily recruit you though. So I know like, the St. Joe's of the world, and there's a lot of schools that showed interest in you, but it may not have been the recruiting coordinator.
Right.
And then that was so valuable for us
Mm.
because then we realized, okay, yeah, of course they like you. You could ball. You're a good player.
Mhm.
You fit that program. But now you still have to jump through some hurdles to get to the recruiting coordinator, the head coach. You actually, those years really helped us understand now, oh no, we're getting the recruiting coordinators down. So instead of having 36 schools, but only 7 of them are really the recruiting guys, we might have 29 schools, but all 29 are legitimately hitting up our kids.
Mhm.
So it was cool and unique to hear you reference that early on in that
Mhm.
in that process. But what did that also do for you? Did it give you a little bit of that last confidence? Like, okay, these schools are showing interest in me. I really can do this. Like, take us through that B1 showcase for it.
So I think the thing I remember the most about it was that felt like the first time where, I mean, I was going to a couple of showcases beforehand, but, not going there with anybody, not knowing anybody. You guys can all
Yeah.
kind of know this
Yeah.
too. You go to showcases.
Put a
and-
number on your back or something.
Right.
like that,
Yeah.
just go.
Yeah. Like, hey, just go play. Now we're here. I know you. I know Joe Tracy, Mike, all the guys that are around me. Smitty, everybody. So it kind of felt comfortable there to begin with, and then starting to see schools and getting to interact with them a little bit was more of where, okay, like I think this is going to be able to work. Like we're just going to have to find the right spot. We're going to have to do everything, go through the motions. So I remember that Joey, especially, we did BP our one round, and after that, I spoke to a few coaches over there. We're talking about grades, talking about kind of just everything
I
there.
was waiting for you to get to that. I don't want to call you out for it. So yeah. So what was the situation for you with this?
Listen, no, I mean, I was a very average student. I was probably sitting in like a 3.0 GPA, maybe a little bit higher, something like that. But after talking to these coaches and like, oh, hey, what's your SAT scores, ACT, and all that, I saw myself going, now this is where the confidence kind of got me a little bit down.
Right.
Because I was like, man, like my grades aren't really where I want them to be at. I'm working for it 100%, but it's not going the way I wanted. So
It was a reality check to how.
yeah, it humbled me real
'Cause
fast.
if you would have
really,
known that freshman year, would you have taken school different?
100%,
Yep.
100%. I mean, again, this was probably that time I was a junior going to my
Yep.
senior year, so
Right.
it was
Almost too late.
Really
Almost late, yeah.
very late.
Yeah.
So
Well, not baseball wise, academically.
Yeah.
You weren't going from a 2.9, 3.0 to 3.4 and getting academic money and all
Right.
that.
Mm.
And this is what we said it on the last one. Don't just listen to us, man. Start hearing us.
Yes.
Hear
Yeah.
it from the source. We're not up here
Yeah.
on a pedestal or a podium just saying, "Oh, make sure your grades are good." You're hearing it, right? We're talking about it. So
Another
That could be
entry
the
to a
difference
school,
in
man.
you getting a
Yeah.
scholarship.
Exactly.
If
You're
the
talking
kids
about-
are the
I was
same
getting
as you.
waitlisted from schools.
Yep.
I was getting accepted, but then again, those schools I was getting accepted to, maybe that wasn't though what the team was asking for, right? So again, it was something that I was like, hey, I wish I knew it a little bit earlier,
Yep,
like you said.
yep.
Again, I was working for it. It wasn't like I was just completely.
Yeah, you weren't cutting class or not doing
Right,
work,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you did that one extra credit assignment that could have bumped you from an 80 to 84. You're like, damn, that's easy.
Yeah, it's so easy,
Yeah.
super simple. And so yeah, that was a reality check because I remember talking to those coaches afterwards and telling them my SAT scores and what my GPA was. They were, kind of like
Dan Luisi was there, right? He was the assistant
yeah.
coach at
I don't
Stony Brook at the
remember
time.
speaking to him, but he was
He
there.
was there.
He was
He's
definitely
the
there.
coach
You
at
remember
Trinity
it.
now, right?
Yeah.
Whoever was there
Guy's
from
phenomenal.
St.
Yeah.
Joe's, Long Island, I was
Yeah.
talking to a lot,
Right.
and that's where we thought we had the most interest after
Just
that
in
day.
his
Yeah.
brother's school.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
brother goes there.
It was probably
Um,
computer.
Oh, we have a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Damien Giuseppe's over there right now
Yeah.
still, and we had a bunch of guys that had a lot of success there, and it's a good program. But again, there is some academic hurdles you got to get to even with that
100%,
program.
yeah.
That's a good program.
Like Malloy was probably the one school I was considering if I wanted to, stay locally and stay in. I want to try to get there.
Right.
Again, same thing. You have to get your academics right. It's a Division II program. It's going to be a challenge.
Sure.
And I actually watched someone that I played ball with in Valley Stream Central. He walked on. He was able to do it all and everything like that. But he went through it. It was a grind.
Right.
It's tough. It's not easy. So
Yeah, that's a good point. What does like a normal Division III day look like
Yeah, I
in
was
the
just gonna
fall?
ask that.
in the fall, so again, you have like you're only allowed to have the 1 month. I forget the exact rule. Whatever. It's like
Yeah.
you have 1 month of
Fall
all baseball activities, and then you got to be done once you go to that's what they ask. So we were basically doing practices that were all kind of individual stuff throughout the week. You're doing your things. You had classes you were working.
Really,
between
no
those.
team practices during the week?
You had them, but like the coaches knew that they had your schedule.
Right.
So if I had a 5:45 class, which I did under my freshman year, I would have to bounce early, or I would have to show up late to like a late night conditioning class.
So
Right.
what I've understood talking to a lot of players that went through our system that play Division III ball, that really is student athlete.
right.
I mean, listen, I don't care what anybody
Yeah.
says. D1, D2 is not student athlete.
Big
It's
time.
athlete
Big time.
and then student. It really is. I don't
we
care.
have to go to our professor and tell him
Yeah,
all the
you're
things
missing.
you're missing.
Oh yeah.
A
I mean,
sheet, this, that.
You got to sign up probably classes 2
You
days
can't
before
take-
everyone else.
And you
so
can't
you
take
get
classes any day 12 to 5.
nope.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you guys say this though. And
Think about that. The middle of the day.
the Division III
early mornings, late nights.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, it was the same way. No, you're fine.
Yeah.
But for us, like we never really missed class. Like honestly, it really did
Even
feel
during
like
season?
during season you would have a couple of conflicts and you were able to get away
Yeah,
from it.
I guess
but a
less
lot of it-
travel.
I guess, but like, for some reason, it really was worked out around
Sure.
to like it was benefiting
Yeah.
us. But like I remember a lot of guys that would have to miss like those weekday games because they had a late night class because maybe they were getting ready for grad school. They were like seniors and stuff.
Sure,
like that.
sure.
Wow.
But again, though, like so you were doing all that, and you would have those mix up practices, whatever it was, conditioning practice with a couple of guys
On
like,
your own or
a lot
monitoring?
of it my early years, like my freshman year, my sophomore year, were more of kind of team based, I guess you could say, and then it started to become more individual.
So team lifts were kind of or lifting in general was kind of on your own.
Yeah. I mean, at the time too, like a lot of the guys on the team that had the same interests as me in the gym and stuff, we were going all the time together. So we kind of like almost formed our little own group.
You were a college athlete, so
Right,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
knew what you were up against. And you knew what you
Yeah.
had to do, and this is
This is awesome stuff.
yeah, and
Because I
it's-
really didn't know all this
Yeah.
different rules.
I learned it just because
Yeah.
of having a bunch of Division III
Yeah.
players, and I was just
Yep.
asking the question. But this is a really cool opportunity for us to kind of touch upon a few of the academic side of things, right?
Yep.
So what I try to remind our guys when I have our Zoom calls and I start to prepare them for the process. Of course, again, we keep referencing like corny cliches, but yeah, your grades are super important.
Yeah.
What these families need to understand is not only the one side of it is maybe you get waitlisted from a school,
Right.
maybe you can't get accepted to a school. That's like let's avoid that at all costs. But then that extra jump, the 88 to a 91, you may be able to get extra academic money. And let's talk
We'll talk about this in episode 1.
right? And let's talk about this, right? Like if I want to win, right? And no matter where we go, perfect fit amount, Sacred Heart, all that, we want to still compete. We want to win. That is part of our decision, right? So I know if they can give me 15,000 academically, and they only have to give me 8,000 baseball to give me a really good scholarship, they just saved academic money on a baseball to go get a pitcher of those 94.
It's like the salary cap in pro sports.
It's exactly what it
Yeah.
is. And we're under control of that. So
Yeah.
everyone that's listening, man, you do control. Maybe do you open another door for yourself?
Yeah.
And you hear that in this process,
That's what it
right?
is, man.
You got to
Oh,
open
yeah.
up doors. don't close doors. Don't allow doors to be closed on you because of your academics. That's crazy.
A lot of your
ego,
recruitment starts with, what are you doing in the classroom?
Sure.
And it helps you with,
so.
like you said, like saving money for another kid to come in and help you, the program win more. But at the end of the day, like, helping you out, getting to school, if they don't have athletic scholarship, they're going right to academic,
right,
and it'll help you out.
Well, that's a whole Division III course, right?
Yeah,
and listen, Joe, like let's be real. If you had better grades, maybe you're not up against it as much your freshman year. Yeah. So maybe they are able to say, you know what, I heard great things about him from some of his players, from Coach Tracy, from Coach Ferriggi. I know this kid can fit our program. Oh, and he's got a 94 average. Hey, let's find out some academic money. Let's just put him on the team.
Yeah, right.
Like, I know D3, it's technically, I guess, an open season every fall because they aren't fully committed to baseball-wise.
Yeah.
But if they're committing to you academically like that, you're on the team.
100%.
And that just makes things a little bit easier. Now, again, your story's cool. It's unique, right? You really did earn it from A to Z. Like, you reached out. You went through that process. But again, we said it, and this isn't a bad. It's just how much better would it have been, easier would have been if we could have taken academics a tiny bit more.
And then the college coaches know they don't have to worry about that as much because they're pretty much in charge of your academics. Yeah. So if you struggle in high school, they might not be as confident to take you because now if you're getting bad grades in college, it's on them.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, we ran into some problems with a couple of guys that were struggling too. And I think for the most part too, of like when you get there, what I learned the most too about just playing on a Division III program, I learned also how to start balancing school and really taking it seriously more because again, you're not getting the average that they want you to be at. You're not playing. Right. You're not getting there. And all of a sudden, I took that so seriously. Yeah. And I was at some points, I was like, I'm actually a little bit concerned about what I got to do tomorrow morning. Right. But hey, let's go play this game first. Let's go get a win and all that.
Why do you think we could all work 2 jobs?
Yeah. Right.
Easily.
Right. So well.
Because we learned this in college. Yeah. We had to do school.
You got to multitask
baseball,
so much.
People ask me for a bunch of years now, how do you balance these 2 jobs, a family, kids, all that? And to me, I don't know anything different. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah. Have you ever played NCAA baseball?
That's what it is, right? That's my answer.
Figure it out real
quick. You're on your computer on a bus, getting your homework on like a
half hour. I took a final when we went to regionals and NCAA tournament. I took a final in the restaurant of the hotel.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you gotta be worried about hitting 93 an hour later.
Dude, I struck out my first at bat of that game, and that was the first time in my life I legitimately made an excuse. If I had to take this damn test 2 hours, I struck out because they can't put my doors off. But I remember saying that directly. So there are so many variables when it comes to your success at the next level, and it does start early. And then, like you said, now, time management. And for us as athletes, Division I, Division II, Division III, it all does blend together. Maybe different levels as far as how many hours you practice. Again, how many flights you take. But it's all relevant. It really is. Yeah. I don't know about you guys. We had study hall. I don't know if what you're.
The freshman did for us.
If freshman was mandatory. If you had a 3.0 sophomore year, you could get out.
Exactly right. Yep. And I remember we brought in a legit player. He was really, really good, and he started his career on academic probation because he just barely got into the school. Yeah. I'm sure the AD or someone pushed him through because he could ball, which is cool. That's very rare. Yeah, but he started academic. Bro, it was Thursday nights. We're ready to go out. He's going back to study hall. Oh, dude, figure it out. Like, that sucks. Like, you don't want that. I don't want that for my players. Guys, you don't want to miss the Thursday nights that you can actually get out with your friends.
We're going to the baseball house,
because
John's got to clock in at study hall at 8 o'clock.
Clock in and go out.
And
he's going to bring a water bottle, though.
Sure, just don't smell it.
You know what's funny, though? We talk about study hall, and again, some from a Division III perspective, honestly, like, a lot of it was on us.
Right.
It really was. Like, we didn't really have those select times of, hey, you have a study hall, you're going to do this. It's just more of like, hey, we're checking in, how you doing? They got it, that's that. But like,
I think we needed 10 hours a week freshman year.
Yeah, we were something along those lines.
Yeah, clock in, clock out, and it was like a sheet.
Yeah.
Oh no, we were pretty much a work clock.
Oh, we were legit. We actually had there were only 2 sessions you can go that you had to be at.
Oh,
so I couldn't go on my own time. I had to go on what they said. Don't get me wrong. I probably wouldn't have done a lick of work if it wasn't for that. I got a lot done during it, so I'm very grateful for it. But it's so cool to hear a story, about your Division III and just your college process of how you got there, because it wasn't the standard went here, went there. They liked me.
Yeah.
This was for some reason, for whatever the reason was. Again, like you said, having guys there, the school felt right, all of that. Yeah. And here we are, a bunch of years later, and you had a great college career. Mm-hmm. You loved everything about it. And
wouldn't trade it for the world. Everything.
That's man, I'm gonna keep saying, hear us. People gotta hear us.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what damn shirt you wore. Like I want to go to this school.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, cool. You can go to that school you want. You can buy the shirt that even says baseball, but playing there and having the good experience, good luck. Yeah. Good luck. And we as a group, we use that expectations word. I said it already before tonight, but I just want to understand for everyone to understand. Like, I want you to know what you're getting yourself into, so that way I'm confident that I can have your back. That we can, when we get on campus, we know what to expect. We know what we're up against, and we can have a great experience.
It's his journey. Sorry.
Yes.
It's not your coach's journey about trying to improve his resume and stuff like that, man. It's his journey. That's important to be, to be successful.
People have to realize having a great Division III career is amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Those percentages are out there. Forgive me for not knowing that percentage off the top of my head. As we get more technologically advanced, WizProd will have a little thing up there to be able to figure it out. But that percentage of how many high school kids go on to play, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's like 1%.
So put respect on JUCO, on D3, D2, D1, all that. Put respect on that. And one of the things that I warn people about, all right, and we're not here to stir any pots or anything like that. We're just gonna be real. We're having fun with it. Listen, everyone be careful. If someone's going to stand up there and tell you how many, I got 31 kids playing Division I baseball this series. What does that have to do with my kid? What does that have to do with me? Like, okay, so he was better, taller, bigger, better situation. I'm not asking you what you did in your past. I want what are you doing for me right now? Mm-hmm. So be careful. I want everyone to be careful when someone just wants to go out there and read off their last 4 years of success. That's not your success, first of all, as a coach. The player did it, right? The player got there. The player had to be really good. Mm-hmm. The Wayne Mazzoni quote that Mike Fridge used all the time, it's phenomenal. Like, you got to be really good. Yeah. So you were really good. You were really good at baseball. How did you end up at Mount? It's because you're really good, right? Different times, maybe other variables, maybe other circumstances would have changed where you went, but it worked out. Yeah. And it was where you should be. And we're not going to sit up here as B1. That's another notch on our belt. It's like, no, Joey Stew, that was his journey. Yeah. And he's up here flat out saying, I don't regret a second of it. Yeah. I loved it.
And honestly, too, I feel like the coolest part about all of it is that I got to start relationships with guys like you and guys that I played with that were all going through that Division I, that Division II, everything like that. And like guys that weren't even at that point, they weren't even needing to do anything on their own. Like, people were going after them. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here and I'm talking to my high school coach. I'm talking to Tracy, Mike, Smitty, all these guys, telling them, like, hey, man, I need some help. Like, I'm really trying to go get this. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it all worked out.
Right.
But again, you have to put that time and you have to kind of buy in on yourself, believe in yourself, and say, hey, like, I'm going to go do this. Yeah. We're going to get out there and we're going to just go through everything they're giving you. And that's that. Like, you got to go through it.
Get out there and sell yourself.
If you want it, you go get it.
I've been encouraged the last few weeks to kind of put my Rolodex, as people have used that word recently for some reason, of college networks and college coaches out there. Yep. And it's just not who I am. It's not what I'm about. Because you know what? You could tell me that your son loves St. John's. I'm not a full believer that maybe that kid is particularly good enough to play there. I'm not going to bash his dreams. I'm rooting for him. Mm-hmm. I will talk to the coach about you. Yep. I will get that coach down to watch you play at Hofstra on a Tuesday in a league game, at Baseball Heaven on a Sunday. But if he watches you move and play, he doesn't like you. It's not, that's not on us. Mm-hmm. That's not on me. It's on the fact that situation didn't add up, and it doesn't mean that you're not good enough to play there. But when they saw you, that wasn't the truth. That's what we're at. So like I said, man, be careful.
That's why the development is so key, because these kids have to work so hard. Mm-hmm. So when that opportunity comes, they are ready.
Yeah. So all right, I want to sum this one up tonight with this one, right? So Stu, some of your favorite. I'm trying not to load this question up too much. Some of your favorite memories playing with B1, playing at Mount. How many of them are actually really revolving around baseball?
Honestly, there's a lot of them, right?
Sure.
But at the end of the day, though, like the school I went to with all those guys and being here, like some of it really it doesn't really go around baseball. I think baseball is what got us all
Sure,
together.
right.
And then now it's like we're all living our lives and doing
the,
all that.
The loaded question I kind of served up right there, and again, that was a raw question. We didn't go over that at all. It was more so like, I was talking with a parent, and they're like, everything needs to be so much more intentional now. He has to be in front of schools no matter what he does. I'm like, no, that isn't what college is about. That's not what college baseball is about. And the parent had mentioned, like, he had so much fun last summer, and we had 3 hotel trips, and they were in the pool and this. And I'm like, no, that is what it's about, guys.
Yeah.
That experience. Yeah, baseball brought you that.
I'm gonna say I'm not gonna go off about it too much, but my favorite of all time,
you're the guest.
Going to tournaments with Tracy's team.
Yeah,
it was probably the best memories I have of high school into college baseball.
And you know what? Maybe I'm speaking for myself. Maybe you guys will back me up. I very rarely remember if we won or lost and what our record was in those tournaments. When I went to San Diego and our team was loaded. Tommy Kohler, Dylan Betances. These are MLB guys. I barely remember any of the games other than the semifinals because that was wild. But like I remember being on the beach. I remember throwing a football and trying to get the football close enough to the group of girls to send my boy to, and see what he could do.
Write his number on it.
Yeah, stuff like that. That is what this experience is about, guys. It's how baseball is going to be there for you until it's not.
Yeah,
but your life experiences, man.
When we went to Georgia, I remember we went to Chick-fil-A for the first time.
Yeah, sure.
So that's an
something
amazing
simple.
memory that I remember so clearly.
So simple.
I remember I was coaching. My little brother was playing with Joey's team.
Yeah.
And we're playing like wiffle ball in the backyard till like midnight.
That's
it. Daniel Tucci.
Yeah. There's that one video of you hitting a bomb. but
that's so good.
That stays in our mind.
That's so good.
But it's all the small things, man. It doesn't have to be freaking living out day in, day out, just baseball. Dude, there's so much things outside of it.
Right.
There's relationships. There's, the fun outside of it, the building the connections with your coach, your friends, and
that's
all
what
that.
I see a lot. People aren't enjoying the
No,
process.
they're not.
They're just worried about the destination. And before you know it, 2 to 3 years is gone.
And not to mention, you get so maybe this new world we're in. Hey, I'm going to play on 6 different organizations because they're going to this tournament, that tournament. Maybe that helps you get to a destination. A strong opinion probably doesn't, but maybe it does. Mm-hmm. But now you get to that destination, and now your teammates are all playing poker. You never really did that because those tournaments, you don't know those dudes, so you weren't playing poker.
It's a stranger playing next to you.
Dude, stranger. I don't know that kid's name. What do you mean I don't know that kid's name? Mm-hmm. How are you guys going to be successful in the grand scheme of things? And again, how are you going to enjoy yourself?
And then how are they getting ready to be on a college team where the chemistry and teammate camaraderie is so high?
So to circle it all back, and this is what one of the things that you said early on in this episode that really resonated with me to have my mind working to that is you were talking about you had an official visit with a college baseball team. And right then and there, granted, I'm sure, Galasso, I mean, you're cooler than Amar, so they must have loved that. But, that group is like, this dude fits. Like, and you're sitting yourself saying, I'm going to make this work because of that. Yeah. You didn't say, I want to make it work because I need to play college baseball, because I need to do that. We knew that. It's kind of built into us. We're college athletes. Right. We're athletes. But you felt, I can't wait to party with this group. Yeah. I can't wait to go on the battlefield with them. I can't wait to play in a 3-3 extra inning game with this group.
And we had, we had those moments on the baseball field, but we had so many memories of being at the baseball house and being in all the dorms that we were staying in, and it was just a blast. And again, like to this day, we're now all going out golfing, going out to dinners and stuff like that.
Man. And you felt prepared when you got to St. Mary's, to handle that.
And I give huge credit to Amar and
Hell yeah.
Man, we had a blast, and it was probably one of the funnest weekends I've ever had going into my full entire college year. Was that beforehand. It was absolutely wild. And I was like, all right, I know.
Those are the days you miss in college.
Yeah. Oh, man. People ask all the time, man. I miss taking ground balls. I miss the parties. I miss the camaraderie. I miss the flights. I miss sleep. Missing a flight and sleeping in JFK, waiting for our next flight. Right. Showing up to a 3-game series an hour before. It's like, that I don't remember necessarily. How that game went, how it ended, but I damn sure remember how I got there. I damn sure remember what we did afterwards. I remember March Madness.
All that.
March Madness, that was big.
We would take 15-hour bus rides and have the time of our life.
Time of our life.
Yeah.
And people would be like, how do you guys do that? I'm like,
this is a whole lot of mafia for us. A whole lot of mafia.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, Stu, dude, this turned out even, I was joking that you're going to have a boring, you're going to have a boring story. Obviously a joke, but no, it's really cool because, again, what you are a poster child for is just having your own journey, having your own experience, and to be up here as proud, as had just as good a time as everybody else did, and you got there a different way.
Yeah.
So again,
you trusted the process.
Yeah, man. Everyone's got to hear us.
Didn't worry about what other people were doing.
No,
right?
No, it did not at all. And again, like I think this process itself for me, it molded to what I am now. Yes. Honestly, and I preach this to my guys going forward. No matter what priorities they're trying to have, they're going to go try to play college baseball or not, man. Like these are the days that you have to love.
Yeah.
And whatever you guys are doing off to the side, you're in high school, enjoy it, man. You got to go do those things because if you don't, like you just said, 2 to 3 years go by, and now all of a sudden you're a senior going to college next year, and you just think that
you're not prepared. You lost experiences.
So it's a big deal.
I was playing summer baseball with my friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to my strangers.
What's it all come down to, man? Everyone's got their own journey. Make sure you value make sure you value family. Make sure you value chemistry. Make sure you value the experience that we're going through. And man, we're gonna continue to dive into. Everyone, be careful. Be careful about what's out there. Be careful about. I've gotten all these guys to do this. I've gotten all these guys to do that. Do some recon. Ask those players, did they have the time of their life?
Don't do it for them. Do it for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Did those kids transfer? Did they have good careers? Did they ever really play?
Do they have friends that they still keep in touch with every single day?
Right.
Yeah. If you're going down a different route, then probably not.
Yep.
But
and you walking on the campus with a whole bunch of dudes that want to be dudes, and you're like, I mean, the last 3 years, I didn't even know, what team I was going to play for the next weekend. Those guys would be like, "Who? What are you talking about?"
They could sniff that out instantly.
Instantly. You know how to? My boys used to come up. My boys used to come up and party with me in New Haven on a random night. You're not going to have your friends come up because you didn't play with them dudes. So
college athletes are smart. They could see fake as soon as you walk in the door.
And they are there for the experience, to win, to succeed. And if you are not going to be able to help that, and you are not going to be able to add to the clubhouse, you're not going to be add to the club, the dorm rooms, and damn sure not going to be able to add to the baseball field, that is a really scary proposition for everybody
they'll
out
find
there.
a way to get you kicked off.
Yeah.
You're going to find your own way to get kicked off. And then you're going to blame everybody else. You can get to the transfer portal.
That's what they were doing the last 3 years.
Scary proposition.
Yeah.
But this was fun, dude.
Yeah,
this was fun.
Awesome, man.
Episode 7, right, Wiz? Episode 7, baby.